Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel. Today, I want to talk about Thomas Tuchel. I want to talk about his post-match comments after Chelsea's 3-1 win at Norwich. And I want to talk a bit about the pre-match comments as well, that were kind of the only real positive thing that we heard in the past 24 hours in the build-up to Chelsea's great result. If you haven't seen the 6 Things We Learned video, it's my match review series here on GBFC. I advise you to go and do so. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel with bell notifications turned on so that during this arduous, confusing time that we have right now at Chelsea, you can be updated at least with my thoughts and the news as it breaks here on GBFC. And also, whilst you're at it, all the likes that you guys leave on the videos, all the comments on any of the things I talk about are highly motivating personally for me. So keep that coming as well if you can. Thomas Tuchel, before the game, reiterated something that we have heard already countless times, that Chelsea Football Club is the perfect fit, not just for him, but when he talks about players leaving, talks about the Christensen to Barcelona deal, he explains it as if to say, well, he looks at what is available at Chelsea and then compares it to what can be offered and what's available at other clubs. Even if you take away the fact now that Chelsea's business sanctions mean that we cannot go and offer brand new contracts at this moment in time. Contracts. At this moment, if you take all of that away, Thomas Tuchel sees a wonderful infrastructure here at Chelsea that has been the cornerstone to what has made us successful. It is the easiest argument in the world for any football fan who's not a Chelsea fan to turn around and be like, well, the reason Chelsea have been so successful is because of dirty oil money from Roman Abramovich. And people can say that, and people will continue to say that, but regardless of where Chelsea go from here, do people like me look like we're disappointed and upset because the chances of replicating 19 trophies or whatever it's been in however long, Chelsea will be very, very hard pushed to even get close to achieving half of that success with a new owner, whether they come in and spend all of the money that Roman Abramovich has injected into the club or not. Chelsea would find it very difficult, even on the basis of probability, with the trajectory of other teams like City, Liverpool. It would be near impossible to ever really fathom Chelsea replicating what we've done since Abramovich took over again, whether Abramovich was there or another owner was there. The thing right now is that when we think about what has become such a successful element of Chelsea Football Club, the academy, and how for so many years it did look like we were just buying teams, cycling through a case of players and then winning a few trophies, and then the process begins again. We're going to talk in a moment particularly about how this really has been the case with managers, and we're going to talk about why Tuchel's the best. But in terms of Chelsea cycling through those players, we've been very successful, but the academy has become a massive cornerstone of what makes Chelsea as an infrastructure actually more ready than any other club I can imagine to deal with a situation of this kind of severity. Now, whether or not we have the ability to buy players this summer, upcoming transfer windows or not, Chelsea's academy isn't just producing Reece Jameses, Trevor Chalobahs, Mason Mounts. There are young players right now, such as Conor Gallagher on loan at Palace, Levi Colwill on loan at Huddersfield, Armando Broja on loan at Southampton. These kind of players will become so key for Chelsea during this period, because as you see with Mason Mount kissing the badge, posting it on Instagram after the game yesterday, there are some players that, regardless of what money has been promised, what money has enticed them to come to Chelsea in the first place, or even what success has enticed players to sign for Chelsea in the first place, the academy is now the cornerstone of what we should be just as grateful for as we are with all of the trophies that we've won up until this point in the past 19 years. We've got to be grateful that despite this tumultuous period that Chelsea are now starting to buckle in for, but that we are inevitably going to go through. We have got so many great things to look forward to in this process in the weirdest kind of way. You guys know the way I like to approach things here on GBFC. Even if it's really bad, I like to try and give as positive of a spin as possible. And here is why. What we have been used to, this has actually happened at arguably the best time in a footballing sense for Chelsea than it could have done in years building up to this, because we've currently got a Champions League winning squad. Yes, it is a nightmare that 3 of those players, Aspi, Christensen and Rudiger, are probably not going to be able to extend their deals, which takes out a massive chunk of that Champions League successful winning Chelsea team. I absolutely get that. But the reason why I think this is the time for this to happen in some kind of like crazy world of just looking at everything with blue tinted glasses. Thomas Tuchel is Chelsea's manager. And I don't think in the Abramovich era there has been a manager who is able to deal with the kind of stress that he is under right now. Not just right now as a result of Roman Abramovich putting Chelsea up for sale, being sanctioned. Every single thing that has happened that has put Chelsea in the news in the last year or so, Thomas Tuchel has handled exceptionally well. From the Super League, Thomas Tuchel, the way he dealt with the Super League, the way he manoeuvred interviews, the way that he basically deflected the attention away from the players and the people that go out on the field. It is a massive psychological bonus for Chelsea to have a manager of this kind of ilk in charge, during this kind of time. The Lukaku interview situation. Yes, there would have been pressure from those above him to continue to play Romelu Lukaku because he's the club's record signing. He was supposed to be that striker to come in and solve that problem. Thomas Tuchel persisted. Kai Havertz then started delivering. Romelu Lukaku is still dropped. But the way that Thomas Tuchel managed that is he realised that it would be very easy as the manager to be upset, to be personally offended by the fact that Lukaku evidently isn't a massive fan of his tactics and the way that he's being used. Tuchel didn't look at that selfishly and think, well, he can talk a load of rubbish about me. Well, that's fine because I picked the starting 11 and you're going to go and sit and keep the bench warm. Yes, recently he's been keeping the bench warm, but not as a result of the interview directly, but because Kai Havertz has earned the right to be starting ahead of him. That's just a straight up fact. There is still that looming air in Lukaku's performances that have definitely stagnated what was a great early start for him. But Tuchel dealt with that superbly. And the way that he's dealing with everything now is not only joyous to the ears of Chelsea fans who are kind of clutching at any kind of loose straw or loose cannon we can to find something positive with our club in this horrible time that we're going through right now. But not only is it the way that he handles himself in interviews, but he's won 3 trophies in a year. He has taken what was a bit of a mess when Frank Lampard was fired into 3 trophies in that incredible period of time, which even if things get worse and worse from this point right now for Chelsea, we have got to be so incredibly grateful for what Thomas Tuchel has achieved at this club. And moving forwards, we're going to look now at some of the comments he made. Credit to Norwich to turn the energy around, blah, blah, blah. It would be a lie if I said I had no doubts. But I had trust in my players. In difficult circumstances, we have produced a lot of performances and results recently. This is true. Chelsea have won, other than the cup final, every game since all of this news came out. Chelsea have won every single game, which isn't easy to do, especially when you've got a young, impressionable team with still quite a few experienced players in there to actually keep everybody on side, to still be dropping players who are out of form, dealing with injuries, everything else during this period. Chelsea have been so blessed that we have had somebody who can actually steer this ship in a direction of continuity on the pitch right now for Chelsea. We can trust in our mentality and the culture of the club. It again proved that we allow ourselves to focus on football because we work in sport and nothing else. And this is the fundamental reason why I believe it is in the best interest of whoever takes over at Chelsea now, be it the government or whoever comes in and buys Chelsea, if we're able to sanction the sale, which it looks like we will be able to. Whoever comes in has got to look at Thomas Tuchel as the perfect person to mould your understanding and knowledge of Chelsea Football Club on, because in such a short period of time, this guy has come in and he absolutely gets it. He knows the mentality of the club. He adores the mentality of the club. And for the first time ever in my lifetime, I can see now a feasible way where whatever happens, as long as we can keep the vision of the club to try to absolutely succeed to the best that we can, there's a chance that we can keep Thomas Tuchel as manager, which would inevitably make this entire new period and phase that the club are about to enter so much easier to deal with. Be that the crossover between understanding the players and the fans, who are undoubtedly going to go through a tough time, not seeing Chelsea win as much. That's the selfish thing that we're going to look at here, and we can't deny. I don't think there's a better man in football right now to be in charge of Chelsea FC. So despite how upset and frustrated we might be, that is definitely the positive that I'm clinging on to right now. And if ever, one of my dreams as a Chelsea fan from a personal story has been to love a manager, to see them go through thick and thin, even though obviously I want us to win every time. I know and understand that isn't humanly possible. To have that manager who gets what I understand about the club, who understands that mentality to keep us there, this is the best chance we've got, with the best guy and the best situation to force us into this kind of position, which is a weird take on it, I know, but I'm sure a lot of you will understand. Thomas Tuchel's the best man for this job. We have got an incredibly talented squad, and in a future video in the next couple of days, I'm going to talk about just how talented this squad is and who I really think could be the pillars, the cornerstones to whatever rebuild Chelsea have to experience and endure. No more updates as of right now regarding the owners. The podcast, the 3 More Points podcast, is going out later today. The Chelsea-Newcastle game is on Sunday, and maybe over the course of however much time now, I'll be posting more and more content to keep you guys updated. So make sure you're subscribed, turn on the notifications, hit the like button if you did enjoy this and agree with what I'm saying about Thomas Tuchel being the best man for the job, and how whoever comes in has got to try and keep this man satisfied and happy that the club is heading still in the best footballing direction. It is key, it is pivotal, and it could be the saving grace in all of this mess. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys later for the pod.